Also, here's a quick part 2, just a little bit more about this edition itself. Be sure to watch part 1. It goes a little bit more into detail. From what I understand, in the late 1800s, Charles Spurgeon and D.L. Moody knew that a revision was going to be made of the King James, known as the English Revised Version, but commonly known as the RV, or the Revised Version. And then the American Committee did theirs as well too for their revisions, and it was known as the American Revision Committee. And they made an agreement not to publish their variants until 1901, as the RV was published in 1881 for the New Testament and 1885 for the complete Bible, New and Old Testaments. They wanted to see where the variant readings would be at, so in a nice 9 bold font they placed these readings. And so a preacher back then, who mostly only had the King James Version and was very familiar with it, had the apparatus to see where the revisions were made, and also the use of a combined of an Oxford and Cambridge reference system. And just like I mentioned before, for the Brevier Clarendon edition, they used some of their references from Oxford, and as well as from Cambridge, they used their references from the Cameo Cambridge edition. And interesting enough, it reminds me of the long primer if you notice the dating in the middle. This uses Bishop's Ussher's dating system. In fact, the old long primer, Oxford long primer, had the beginning of Ussher's dating all the way at the beginning to 404 BC. The current long primer does not have that. It starts with the time of Abraham. So you see that kind of reminds me of the long primer in that sense for the dating system. So just wanted to give you that information about some of the history and why this was done. It was actually originally done in a hardback edition, which was very big, and later on some hand-sized or bigger editions were done and bound in leather. And from what I understand, in the 90s, late 90s to the early 2000s, this publisher here, Crimson House Publishers, under Nigel Lynn, started to publish and reprint this edition. And in fact, the 2007 edition was very much praised for the use of a very high GSM. If I were to guess of the GSM quality, it would be probably 42 GSM, if I were to guess, just from the feel. And it has a very high opacity, because usually the camera can pick up more than the naked eye. You don't see hardly any ghosting with the naked eye, and even with the camera you don't even see hardly any ghosting. So the way they did the edges for the red under gold art gilt, they did it similar as a salmon color as how Cambridge did theirs. Very soft, extremely supple, soft, buttery soft calfskin. It kind of reminds me of the Mariva calfskin, and it has the perimeter stitching all around. Okay, thank you very much, and Lord bless your day.